I want to have a little bit of deeper chat about the covert contracts, which I find
Yeah.
extremely interesting. So I know you mentioned them, but could we just go into a little further at that?
Sure. Okay, so what's a contract is an agreement between two people, right? Covert is something that's hidden. Overt is something that is out in the open. So covert contract is an agreement that is hidden. And a lot of times this kind of agreement, again, kind of an unconscious kind of thing, is this idea that if I do something for someone else, they will in return do something for me. And I think this isn't just with nice guys. I think that this is kind of it's a part of the nice guy syndrome, but I think it can happen in a lot of different contexts. We find that, if I do something positive, I get rewarded for it. Right. But if the expectation is every time I do something positive, I get rewarded for it, those times that I don't get rewarded for it, then what do I do with that? I get upset, I get angry, right? So if you have a unspoken agreement, okay, that's covert, and your partner doesn't actually know what it is, she can't or he can't meet your expectations. And resentments are expectations that have been born into resentments. So when I have an expectation and that expectation doesn't get met, what it's replaced with is a resentment. And then the resentment is what starts to create distance in a relationship and starts pulling it apart. So little by little, it becomes like these 1,000 paper cuts. All right, I thought she was going to do this for me. A classic covert contract would be, you're feeling anxious. You want to know if your partner loves you, feels good, right? So you say, I love you, not with the intention of loving your partner, but waiting for that I love you in return. So I feel anxious. I love you. She says, I love you too. Okay, I can feel a little bit better right now. But if I say, I love you, and she's like, all of a sudden I feel like crap, right? So we tend to have these things. And the point is to kind of understand and recognize, like, it's okay to have contracts with people. It's okay to have expectations. It's just like, let's make them overt. Let's talk about it, So, hey, babe, here's the thing. 2 nights a week you cook, 2 nights a week I'll cook, and 2 nights we go out, or something like, one night we don't have bad math. Something along those lines. Anyway, it's out in the open, right? Everybody knows what the expectations are, right? And then if the expectations don't get met, then you have something to discuss and say, hey, what happened? Because we had this agreement that this is what we were going to do, and then you can go deeper into that. But if you don't talk about these things, if you don't let the other person know what your expectations are, then it's just going to lead to resentments. So I think ultimately a covert contract is an unspoken expectation that you have.
Is there a reason why the nice guy keeps it so covert? Because he secretly thinks that she'll know, or like he doesn't want to upset or rub her the wrong way if he has this expectation or preference, or
yeah. Again, kind of goes back to a couple different fears. I'm unlovable and unacceptable just the way that I am. Nice guys are really, really sensitive to rejection. Okay. The rejection piece is, so if I tell you what I want, there's a chance that you're going to say no. And if you say no, then I'm going to feel rejected. And instead of just being honest and saying, hey, this is what I need, nice guys I've also oftentimes experienced earlier in childhood of, I say what I need and what I'm told is no, you can't have that. Right? I feel this sense of rejection. So if I know I'm not going to get my needs met, I'll just go in the back door and try to get my needs met in another way. And one of the ways to do that is by creating these covert contracts.